Welcome to the Roving Reporter segment of Impact. This week we're discussing Lyme disease and how we can protect our pets from getting this disease and prevent our family members from also possibly getting this disease. My guest is Kim Belizzi. Kim, welcome.
Thank you for having me back.
Yes, welcome back to Impact in our brand new studio.
I love it.
Yes, thank you.
It's beautiful.
Now, we are here to talk about a very important topic, that is Lyme disease in pets, and how we can prevent our little ones from getting this horrible disease.
Yes.
Now, before, when you came on the show last time, you talk about you being a lover of pets, and you're a pet owner, you're a volunteering pet, and I just refer to you as a pet advocate.
Perfect. Perfect.
That's what you are to me. You're a pet advocate. You advocate on behalf of these little ones and to make sure that they're healthy, that they have the necessary funding, and to try as much as you can to get them adopted.
Yes.
And also, you also have a fencing business.
Yes, I do. The Invisible Fence.
Yes.
I'm a dealer in the Tri-Cities area.
Okay. All right. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But today, it's the big issue of Lyme disease. Yes. Summer is here. Yes. And our pets needs to be protected. Now, let's begin by talking about what is Lyme disease and how do our pets get this disease.
Okay. Well, Lyme disease is a tick-borne disease. And we're all familiar with ticks in, upstate New York. It is a high-risk area.
Yes.
So basically, the ticks are transported by animals such as deer and mice that frequent our yard. Wooded areas are high-risk areas, tall grass, and basically that's the type of environment we have up here.
Yes, we do.
What occurs is the ticks will jump off of a deer or a mouse or be in the grass that our dogs go into.
Yes.
And our cats, and they jump up and they fall upon the animals. They're looking for a blood source. So they will latch on to our dogs, and then our dogs will walk into the house with these ticks on them.
Exactly. So what are some of the symptoms, because sometimes it takes a while for an owner to realize that their little one has Lyme disease. So how can you tell that my dog or cat has this disease?
Some of the most prevalent symptoms would be fever, swelling of the joints, pain, loss of appetite, constant tiredness, and this occurred with my dog most recent, lameness in the limb that is closest to the site of tick attachment. Now, I had found a tick on my dog prior to it and didn't really give any thought to it. I took it off and disposed of it. But all of a sudden, she just became lame in her front leg and cried in pain every time she went to walk. Overnight this happened.
Oh my goodness.
Took her to the vet and they took x-rays first to see if she had anything broken, and she did not, and they did a test to see if she had Lyme disease, and she did.
Now, normally, I think our pets when we take them to the vet, they have an annual vaccine.
They do. They have you can vaccinate your animals against Lyme disease, and my dog was, so it's not 100%, and the best way is to get the dogs vaccinated, as well as removing and looking for ticks in your dogs every single day, and cats.
Say that again. Every single day.
Every single day. They go outside into the grass and the wooded area. You take them for walks. If you go camping with them, hikes. If they're exposed to these high-risk areas, you should examine your pets every day. Because what occurs is, I don't know if you know that, a dog cannot come and give a human Lyme disease.
Yes.
Okay, so what occurs is the tick will fall off the animal after it's fed, and then maybe, and it sounds gross, on your couch. And then the family gets on the couch at night to watch TV,
exactly.
and it finds the human and latches onto the human.
And so that's the big danger, because you don't want, you don't want it in your pet, but you don't want to have it on yourself also.
Correct.
That's the big danger. Correct. Now, a lot of people who live in the city area, who doesn't live, adjacent to a wooded area where potential dares may pass by, they always assume that that's a safe spot. I don't really have to do all the precautions like checking my dog every day and all of that. But studies have shown that even though you may not have lived next to a wooded area, the fact that you have a dog that's running around in the grass or in an area where there's grass, he has a potential, or she has a potential of getting, a tick bite. And having a tick latch onto them.
Yes, absolutely. Because like we said too, mice are carriers. So the mice may go into the fields and have them, and if you have, you know, a problem with mice, you know, that they can be carriers as well. So, you know, or if you go hiking, you might live in the city, but you know, on the weekends you go hiking.
Exactly.
So you don't think about it, and you know, so the best way really is to use preventatives such as Frontline, and you can put them on your, you know, your pets. There's different products for cats and dogs, and you have to be very, very careful to make sure you use only cat-approved products for cats and dog-approved products for dogs, and they're not one product for all.
True.
But if you use those products to keep the ticks off of your animals, so they don't bring them into your home.
Exactly.
So you're, you know, you don't have that exposure.
Yeah, because often their families, and you have the little ones playing with the dog and playing with the cats, and you don't want that to happen to your little ones. So the best thing to do is to safeguard by getting these preventative, getting the injection, doing the what is it, the front line, and also we've talked about safeguarding our backyards. Now talk a little bit about that. How do we safeguard our backyards?
Yeah, it was interesting when I was doing some of the research, and as you know, I've been talking about Lyme disease for a long time, but they talk about having a tick-safe zone. And I know when I go out to a lot of these properties that there are trees and wooded areas, and even when I do what my job entails, they'll ask me not to have the wooded areas included for the dogs. But to go one step further, different ways that you can have a tick-safe zone is to put wood chips along your wall, foundation, or where the wooded area ends. And so they do not survive. They don't like the wood chips.
Okay.
So that's one thing you can do. Use deer-resistant flower gardens. And you can go online, you know, to your community county services. And there are listings of what types of vegetation deer do not like. So this prevents the deer from coming into your backyard and feeding. And they actually, was one really interesting thing, that you can buy these cardboard tubes that have this cotton that are treated with pyrethrins, and that's one of the main ingredients in like the Frontline and those products. And you get these little tubes and place them outside, and the mice come and use the stuffing for their beds, so that the ticks don't go on the mice. And then if the mice come in your yard, they don't go on the mice. I know. So I mean, that's really going all out. I thought that was very interesting how they do sell those. But yeah, that's how you create a tick-safe zone in your yard. To clean up debris that around the stone wall, so the mice don't want to go in there and make their bedding. Anything you can do to keep your yard cleaned out.
Yes, because we as humans, sometimes we wait a little longer to mow the lawn, and that's breeding ground for these ticks to come in and to have an effect on our pets and ourselves. So we need to not only look to protect ourselves in our backyards these days, because the rain is going to come, grass are going to grow, and you have to be diligent about taking care of your property. And and as you take care of your property, you take care of yourself, you take care of your pets. That's right. So it's a full rounded benefit for everybody.
It is, and it's funny because I live on 3 acres and it's cleared. You know, so you think that I don't have a lot of exposure, but my animals have had ticks on them. So I did go ahead and put my preventative on. You know, as soon as the spring came. So now is the time. Actually, you should have been already starting. To do this. And like I said, the grass gets a little bit longer. That's what happens. They all breed in the grass. And
we live in the Northeast where deers are prevalent, and you know, it's a high risk area. So why not take the preventative measures that you need to take to make sure that you are safe and your animals are safe?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now going back to what you do, you do invisible fence.
Yes, I do.
Now talk a little bit about that business.
Invisible fence is a pet containment system where there's a wire buried, and you can tailor it to your yard. You know, actually use a natural boundary or include or exclude like wooded areas and whatnot. And then the dog wears a collar, and it gives off a beep and a correction, and the animal learns what its boundary is with the wire through a 2-week training period. And after that 2-week training period, they learn that boundary, and they will stay within that boundary when you let them outdoors.
Wonderful.
So without having a physical fence, you can keep them contained and safe.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, because in the summertime we want to let our pets out.
Oh, absolutely.
We want to give them that freedom, you know, make sure they're properly hydrated.
Absolutely.
You know, but to make sure that, you know, you let them out in the afternoons or in the morning so that they can run about and have some fun.
And the exercise is good because it prevents other behaviors from happening. I have, you know, puppies that are digging and chewing, and adult dogs. And
Correct.
Because that energy has to go someplace. So rather go outside and play with them and have this whole yard to, you know.
Now, when is a good time for us? I mean, I'm assuming that you can go yearly, but I'm assuming this may be a better time for you to go and have your dogs checked out to see if there's any potential for Lyme disease on them?
Yes.
Okay.
Normally you do go once a year, and you have like a 3-way type of test for heartworm and Lyme disease.
Okay.
And that would be when, and once a year you should do that. And most people do that once a year because you cannot buy heartworm preventative without having that test done.
Okay.
So that's when you would do it. And that is actually when my dog went lame, but there are other times that I've had another dog that got tested, didn't have any symptoms, and tested positive.
Wow.
So you have to be careful of that too, because you may not always see the symptoms, so you should get that test once a year.
Okay. Now let me ask you, if you discover, okay, in your daily routine of taking care of your puppy, and you find out that you see a tick on him, what is the proper way to get the tick off?
Okay, now they said to use like a flat type of, they do sell tick removal kits.
Oh, good.
So vets will have them as well. And they're it's a little device that will help to get the tick, so you don't have to touch it, make contact with it, and pull it off. And that would be the best way to do it, is to get one of those devices. But they do use that like a flat tweezer, and try to get as close to the bottom of the skin as possible. Yes, and to pull it out.
Yes. Because you want to do it in a proper way and not freak out and keep it there. The longer you keep it there, the more you're endangering your pet and yourself. So the best thing is to do is the sooner the better, to have those equipment available and get it off.
Yeah, within 24 to 36 hours, I said before I read that it starts transmitting after that, the disease. So you do want to get it off quickly. And that's why we talked about checking every day.
Yes.
Don't allow a tick to stay on there. And once a tick becomes bloated, you know it's been on the animal for quite a long time.
True.
So you should bring your animal in to get tested at that point.
Okay. Now also, we did talk a little bit about the fact that sometimes they do get, you cannot get, an adult human being cannot get a Lyme disease from an animal. However, a tick can be transferred. Say, for example, you did not do, you gave the assignment to your son or your daughter, and she forgot, that, okay, I had to clean, check the dog today, and they're playing with him on the couch, and one of these things fall off into the couch and gets on the kid.
Yes.
Now, what is the first response? What's the step that we go through?
For humans, we'll definitely, check ourselves as well. And there's a whole lot of preventative things that you can do. Wear light clothing, don't go in wooded areas, wear long pants when you do. But if you do find one, yes, you need to get it off yourself as well, and you should go see your doctor
immediately.
Yeah, immediately, so that they can see if there's, if you need to start taking any kind of antibiotics or precautionary.
Yes, because there is a regimen. I think both animals and humans almost have the same regimen that they have to take.
They do.
So that that this disease doesn't get permeated into their system.
Yes, for dogs, I know it's a month of an antibiotic.
I believe
it's
almost the same for humans. Yes,
and it can be Lyme disease. It's a neurological type disease too, and it can cause a lot of other symptoms in humans if it's gone untreated, and animals as well.
Yes.
So you do need to make sure that your animals are tested, because, like I said, they may not always show symptoms, and it may get to a level where it starts affecting organs and whatnot if you don't get it tested and find out.
Now, 2 other things before we leave. Registration of your pets.
Yes.
I know the City of Schenectady is making a big push this year to get the pets in this area, registered, and make sure that all pets are accounted for. Because again, in the summertime, we want to take them out to the parks.
Right.
We want to expose them to places where there are other people, and things do happen. And sometimes you don't want them to happen, but sometimes they do happen. And to have an unregistered dog that we don't know anything about to come up against our kids and our family, it's very dangerous. And I know the county, and you can go to the city clerk's office.
Yes, and the reasons they want you to license too is because you cannot license an animal that has not had its rabies vaccination.
Yes.
So therefore, when you do register with the county, and you can go to the city clerk's office, And I believe it's right there at the city clerk's desk. And if it's not, they will direct you to the area. I can't remember what the fees are. They're not that expensive. They really are low-cost fees, and we can, put that on the website. But you do have to register them. They do have to have their rabies vaccination. You have to have proof of that, and proof that you're a resident.
Exactly.
But going along with that, for those that want to save a little bit of money,
that's correct.
Schenectady County has a rabies clinic coming up June 15th at Central Park Pavilion.
Okay.
So, and there they separate it for cats and dogs. The cats will be seen from 10 to 11 a.m. The dogs will be seen from 11 to 12 p.m. You must leash the dogs and have the cats in crates.
Good.
But it's only for rabies, and that's a huge one.
That is.
That's major.
That is very major.
If you're going to do anything, you should get the rabies vaccination. And again, it is mandatory in Schenectady County. I'm sure it is in most counties. But there you can get it for free.
Exactly. And why endanger yourself, your family, and other people when you have an opportunity to register your animal, register your pet, and have everybody around you safe as well as yourself? Because again, rabies is a very, very dangerous thing.
Yes, it is.
For us to have to in this day and age. And then on top of that, if you why not go and volunteer, and then once you volunteer and you get the information as to what you want to do. You can decide whether or not this is a good investment and see the rewards that you can get from having a pet.
And most shelters, I mean, they encourage that you come and spend time with the animal that you're thinking of adopting. It's not something they expect you to do that day. You know, because you do have that animal for a long time.
Yes.
So it has to be a good choice. So I would suggest you go to the shelter, you tell them what type of temperament you're looking for, how large an animal, and Pet Finder is a great place if you go online and just Google Pet Finder. Because all the local shelter animals will be on Pet Finder. They'll tell you which shelter has that animal. But go and spend time with the animal and see if there's a bonding, if it's, you know, the temperament you want, the personality.
Exactly.
You know, so that would be the best way to do it. And there's so many unwanted animals out there that need homes. It's perfect.
Yes. Well, Kim, I think we have covered the gamut on this topic, and you've done a wonderful job as usual.
Thank you.
And thank you again for being on our show and to bringing up the topic of Lyme disease in our pets and how to prevent it and how we can best be great advocates for our pets and love them the best way we can. So thank you for being a pet advocate and being on our show today. Thank you. You've been watching the Roving Reporter segment of Impact. I hope you have a wonderful summer. Take care of your pets, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.
Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.